Hey everyone, thanks for joining me for this special edition of my lunch, Get Ready for Greatness Lunch and Learn workshop. I'm sort of adjusting the time now because I, I I've begun to uh, reach. In fact, I'm trying to make the Lunch and Learn right work for everybody. It's actually just now 11:30 on the West Coast. So I'm going to maybe sort of adjust the time that here on the East Coast we'll be doing the lunch a little bit later, so you will have already had lunch. But if the timing doesn't work out for you, that you're not able to catch it live, of course you're going to always be able to catch the rebroadcast on the Get Ready for Greatness Facebook page and over at our Get Ready for Greatness YouTube channel. So I'm posting all of the broadcasts there. For those of you who are just catching me for the first time, my name is Richard Cuff. I'm president of CTI Marketing, founder of Nassimba Business Alliance, master greatness coach here at getreadyforgreatness.com. And for the next 21 days, and we'll probably continue this cycle for as long as we're trying to um, catch our breath and get to our new normal. Uh, there's a lot that is taking place in our economy. No one has any answers. So if anybody's giving you answers as far as what they think the economy is going to do, what our nation is going to do, what the world is going to do, what this virus is going to do, you can take that and throw it out the window because probably 9 times out of 10, it's going to change. And most likely, whatever anybody is saying is going to happen today is going to change by the time the sun sets or maybe even the rises in the morning. So it's a weird place to be in. And I've been there before. In fact, I feel like I've been there for the past 4 decades to the point that this particular time that everybody is going through, honestly, it's the norm for me. And so when I was creating the Get Ready for Greatness workshop and the whole coaching program, I was creating it with the thought that, I'm offering something that very few people are going to need. It's because I don't think anybody's going to go through the kind of things that I've been through in my life. And then suddenly this coronavirus shuts down. And what most of America is experiencing and has been experiencing maybe for the past 40 days, and I've been experiencing it for 40 years. And now suddenly the coaching, the training, the things that I've learned, they all make sense now because I now know what I'm to do with that wisdom, that the things that I've experienced over 40 years. I'm now to share it with you and with the hopes that I can give you 40 years in 21 days so that the time that it took me to reach my awakening, what I call coming out of my spiritual coma, uh, uh, it was 40 years, but hopefully it'll be 21 days for you. And but you know what? It's 21 regardless whether it's 21 cycles is what I want you to think about. There's going to be 21 different times that you'll have to approach this information, get something new and digest it and come back again and come back again. And then maybe on the 21st time, you'll hit that aha moment. Now, that could happen within 21 days, but it may take 21 weeks or 21 months, maybe even 21 years of going around to get it again. And you'll get better each time around. You'll become a little bit more conscious of of what is going on and how to apply the principles. You'll automatically begin to start breaking things down and separating them, and if just looking at the one and then starting with two and four, and you'll start understanding these numbers, and you'll start seeing how the numbers will start speaking to you almost in a language, giving you the steps to do. So the first time around, it'll feel almost mechanical, artificial, if you will. But eventually, you'll begin to really uh, become comfortable with it and start applying this information and this wisdom, if you will, with every situation that comes up in life. So, but for right now, let's just go over the Get Ready for Greatness Lunch and Learn sessions. The first segment, I'm going to be talking about pretty much the nuts and bolts of business and entrepreneurship, but specifically as it relates to just the very basics. This is from my the basics of business lunch and learn workshop. So in essence, what I did was I combined my lunch and learn workshops and my get ready for greatness coaching into one. And it's created this 21-day process where I'm able to talk about the the basics of business, but at the same time introduce information to help you shift your way of thinking. So the two work together, and it's what I call the PS factor. The PS factor is your level of conscious awareness of your natural God-given ability to attract a successful outcome in any given situation. So you can log on to the psfactor.com, and that'll take you over to my podcast, where you'll be able to get more information as it relates to the PS Factor and actually subscribe and follow the podcast. But I also want you to go over to getreadyforgreatness.com, where you can create your free coaching profile and begin through what we call the business or the incubation funnel. We have an incubation funnel that we can incubate your business from the very idea, just from the moment you roll out of bed with the idea and you don't have anything else. That's what this program is for. And that's who it was designed for. Now, let me tell you who it's not for. It's not for that person that's looking for the get rich quick scheme. He's not that looking to make up for what you lost during this shutdown, trying to find somebody that can um, do your accounting or fix your marketing or help you do something that you should have done 3 years ago, and now you realize that you need it. It's going to be rather expensive in this particular market right now. If your life, your business, anything is in a mess because of this shutdown, suddenly you realize you can't file for that loan because you don't have any bank records, or you can't get that customer back because you don't have a marketing strategy, or you're losing customers because you don't have a good customer service system in place. It's too late. The horse is out of the barn now. So you can't go and put those things into place. The best you can do is hope to work with somebody that can um, help you put it together, or help you put your wings on, or whatever you're doing while you're headed toward the ground, and maybe now you're thinking, I should have done that. Well, that's the reality of it. Um, Eric Gardner, who wrote the book, Gardner is his name. What is his name? Godly. He did the book, um, Pursuit of Happiness. Will Smith played him in the movie. His second book, I never really got past the first chapter because it's like I read the first couple paragraphs in the first chapter of the book, and I put it down because it just was like, whoa, I got to come back to this one later. But basically, he said, you if you want to get to this place of success and overcome this extreme adversity and the challenges that life is throwing at you. For him, it was homelessness while going to school to get his uh, 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 certification to become a stockbroker. What he said was, what you have to do in this moment is realize the cavalry ain't coming. The sirens are not going to be blaring. Nobody is coming to help you. Nobody. There is no help. Now what? Now what? That's what this moment is about. If you can recognize that it's all on you and you're going to have to dig deep within yourself to find the answer, then this process is for you. But if you're looking for help, you're looking for somebody to make it easy for you, there are millions of people right now that are in that category. And the federal government is not in a position, the federal government has no desire to help you. The state, the city, your leaders, you look around you. Where are your leaders? They're not knocking your door down trying to figure out how can we come and help you, because they're looking for help themselves. Everybody is in survival mode right now. And so it's time for you to turn on that switch and ask yourself, is today my shine day, the day that the light comes on? Is this the day that I light up like a Christmas tree, realizing that I already have the circuitry inside of me? I just never had the energy flowing through me to light up all the circuits. Now the circuits are on. Now you're realizing that you have it. You got everything you need to be successful. And now you have the perfect opportunity to prove it. So let's go forward. I want to talk about today, in today's Lunch and Learn workshop, we're going to talk about well, first of all, let me introduce you to the companies. The North American Small and Emerging Market Business Association evolved, if you will, to become the NCEMBA Business Alliance. And NCEMBA is just one of three companies, CTI Marketing, Concentel Mobile, and of course, the NCEMBA Business Alliance, which make up the cultural capital marketplace. We, prior to the coronavirus shutdown, we were positioned to unveil the cultural capital marketplace as one of the first, well, actually the first company that would offer shares of stock through our crowdfunding platform. And then it would become the company that other companies would follow behind us. And we would be launching thousands of businesses that would be raising as much as $5 million. That's the new Wall Street. It is the new Wall Street. So the cultural capital marketplace is the new Wall Street. We're not going to put together the old Wall Street. $2 trillion to make too big to fail is also too big to pick up. They're on the ground now. The best we can do is just let them rot, because we got to come up with some new ideas and some nimble businesses that can change on a spin on a dime, because we need all hands on deck right now as it relates to creativity. So these are my three companies, and I know that you have companies that you can bring. So I've created the cultural capital marketplace, but I certainly am not the one who's going to take it to the level where it can be, because there are hundreds and thousands of entrepreneurs that will come into the cultural capital marketplace and reshape this market. And we're going to do it rather quickly. So let's talk about the home-based business revolution. What's going on right now? At the time I wrote this, there are 3,500 to 7,800 people daily were making the decision to start a home-based business. I can guarantee you that that number is probably 10 times that right now. That the market for home-based business services and consulting, coaching has exploded because of the coronavirus, and because of suddenly we're going from a 3.5% unemployment rate to possibly a 35% unemployment. 10 times explosion of unemployment. But that means the markets have exploded. The Wall Street Journal back in 2020 predicted, back in the early 2000s, in fact, 1998, I think, when I first found this statistic, that through 2020, the businesses would continue to increase. Well, that we've hit 2020. Now we're going to see an explosion all the way through 2035, I believe. But according to the Department of Commerce, home-based businesses is the fastest growing segment of our economy. And this was just proven with a report from American Express last year that showed that African American females are the fastest growing business segment in this country. And I guarantee you now, more than ever, after the coronavirus and the new normal, you're going to see African American female businesses, and just basically businesses within these underserved communities are suddenly going to begin to take off because of companies like ours and others. So the high rate of failure is often attributed to entrepreneurs' inability to successfully manage all the components of the business. You know, grandma has been baking cookies for 40 years. She starts a business, and within a year, she's out of business. Is that because grandma suddenly forgot how to bake cookies? No, she could not successfully manage all the components of a business. And it's a fact that the average income of a person working a home-based business is $50,000 a year. That number is going to go up considerably now, because there's so much opportunity for home-based businesses because of the disruption of the traditional marketplace. It's going to take a moment for us to put Humpty Dumpty together again, if we can ever do that. So there's going to be a new marketplace, what I'm calling the Concentel Mobile Cultural Capital Marketplace is the new Wall Street. But that new Wall Street, the businesses within our cultural capital marketplace are going to be worth on between 5 million and $50 million. That's it. There won't be an Amazon worth almost $1 trillion in the cultural capital marketplace. It's designed to make certain that no business increases more than $50 million before it's either kicked out of the marketplace or it breaks up and creates a new business to begin to spread the wealth out more. So that the next time there's a collapse, 30% of the businesses can collapse, but it doesn't take down 100% of the market. We didn't have a 100% collapse. We just had a collapse that affected 20% of the marketplace. But that was enough to take out the entire marketplace. We're changing that. So nearly 50% of entrepreneurs will be operating their businesses from some form even after 8 years. So what that means is when these entrepreneurs start their business, more than half, about half and even more, are still operating that business. Now, it may not be the most successful business, but once these small businesses, home-based businesses get started, they usually stay in business for a really long time. So that's the outlook of the home-based business market. But let's talk about the spiritual nature of entrepreneurship. The Bible, John 3:6 says, that which is flesh is born of the flesh. That which is spirit is born of the spirit. Entrepreneurship is a spirit. The spirit of entrepreneurship is not the same as your enterprising nature. This is very important. The ability to start a business, to form a corporation, to fill out the forms, to launch a Facebook group or whatever it is. There's a lot of that going on, but none of that is the entrepreneurial spirit. In fact, what is happening right now is the ground is shaking and the entrepreneurs are holding on. The entrepreneurial spirit is going through what everybody else is going through. But while the person who had that enterprising nature and had a successful flower shop, bakery, or whatever it was, and they were doing really well when the economy was doing well. Then when the economy went south, their business, they lost customers. Now that enterprising nature goes, oh my God, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? We go out of business. We get a loan. We need some stimulus. We need something. But you know what the entrepreneurial spirit is doing? The entrepreneurial spirit is saying, who is it that I can serve today? And how can I serve in spite of all the things that are going on? See, the entrepreneurial spirit doesn't stop. In yesterday's Lunch and Learn, I talked about the static nature of your being and the dynamic nature. Your enterprising nature is static. It stands still. It's based on the outer circumstances, helps it to hold it there. So gravity and the thermodynamics and strong force, weak force, all of these forces of nature give it a presence. And then the moment one of those or something is disrupted, poof, it's gone. But over here in the dynamic sense, your entrepreneurial spirit is moving at the speed of light. In fact, it's moving at the speed of God. It's already where it's going to be. It's already been destined to be there. So a bump in the economy doesn't change what your entrepreneurial spirit is destined to do. So it's time. Well, I wouldn't say it's time for entrepreneurs to rise up. I'm telling you right now, entrepreneurs are the ones that are making it happen. Entrepreneurs are the ones that's getting up and going out and doing it. Now, they may, believe it or not, entrepreneurs may look like a nurse. They may look like a first responder. They're the ones that we now call essential workers. Yes, when you boil it all down, our economy comes down to entrepreneurs. So how do you know that there's an issue within your spirit and your entrepreneurial nature? Repeated starts in an attempt to reach the same goal are a good indication that you are allowing your enterprising nature to cancel out your entrepreneurial spirit. How many times do we have to go through economic collapse, stimulus to get it back together, a strong economy rising up only to collapse again? Go through that over and over again, and you're beginning to realize that we have been putting our economy in the hands of those with that enterprising nature. And that's the ones that will be able to tell you everything. When things are up, we're winning. When things are down, they're causing us to lose. They take the credit and shift the blame. But that's not what the entrepreneurial spirit says. The entrepreneurial spirit says, give credit where credit is due, but take the blame when it falls on you. That's the entrepreneurial spirit. The entrepreneurial spirit also understands that the law of start and finish, which states there are earthly forces that can finish anything you started, if so desired. So the entrepreneurial spirit understands the law of start and finish. That law of start and finish operates within a physical sense. So yes, the entrepreneurial spirit has to obey all the physical laws. It's got to obey the man's laws. Entrepreneurs got to get a license just like everybody else. So the entrepreneur recognizes that that is what needs to take place. So while the entrepreneur is 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 following, obviously working with its spirit, but it's also following the laws, and these laws are uh, keep everything in place. So that's the law of start and finish. But the law of begin and end says once you begin, you can never unbegin. So if you begin now, you can always wait before you start. But if you wait before you start, you'll never begin. So let's talk about how do you capitalize on your entrepreneurial spirit. During this particular time, you can now is a great time for you to evaluate where you are and the state of your own individual entrepreneurial mindset. Do you have what it takes to be successful in business? You don't know, seek out coaching. I may not be the best coach for you. My coaching doesn't have to necessarily be the coaching that you seek, but seek the advice of someone. In another session, I'm going to go over the 7-stage consultation process that I use when launching a new business and show you how I've used this process for the last 30 years to start off with clients for free. And by using this process, by the time we go through it, maybe a second or a third time, the client is willingly writing me a check. Several times I've had clients to say, oh, I must pay you more, because when I started offering the service, they didn't see the value. And I knew that if someone does not see the value, it doesn't matter what the price is. They're not going to be willing to pay the price, even if it's free. But once they begin to see the value, I had a friend today says, "Man, you got me counting up my pennies, bro. I got to see if I can make this happen." Why? Because there's no question that what I'm offering has value. The question is whether or not the value that the customer or the potential client sees in my product, in me, whether or not that value matches with the price. If the value that they see does not match with the price that I present, then we're not going to be able to do business. I'm not going to come off my price, and I'm certainly not going to lessen the value. So if Stephen Covey said it best, if we can't come to a win-win, then it's a no deal. And I'm okay with that, especially in this economy, because now is a great time for you to go and get customers and people who are willing to pay for you, because this is a very competitive market now. Second thing, you want to create an action plan listing the areas which you want to improve. And then third, incorporate that action plan into your daily activities so that you are beginning to practice the behavior that you want to demonstrate. I'll give you a perfect example. It was a great story about a woman who was going through taking training and working on her mindset because she was believing God for a husband, but she wasn't married. The husband hadn't showed up. And a friend asked her, well, describe your day for me. What does it look like? And what her friend helped her to understand was that she was believing God for a husband, but she was still driving home and parking in the middle of the driveway. She was sleeping in the middle of the bed. She was preparing dinner for one. She was going to the store and buy enough food for herself, buy only things that she need. So what her friend said to her was, If you are really believing God that you're going to find a mate, begin to make room for that mate. Go into your closet and push your clothes over to the halfway so that you can make room for your mate to hang their clothes. Sleep on your side of the bed. Make the bed so that they can have room on the bed. Park your car in the driveway and leave room for him to park his car. Prepare meals. Start thinking about shop. Create a grocery list for yours. Write down the list that you would be eating and write down the stuff that he would be eating. Go through the grocery store, even if you have to go and pick it up off the shelf and then turn around and go back and put it back. But you want to get used to, get your mind in conditioned to prepare for that new life. Because if you're still thinking the old way, you're going to get the old results. And so what happens is these new actions that you're doing are being canceled out by the old thoughts, and your spiritual being by default goes back to what's been the accepted norm. So when you start sending the universe new signals that say some things have changed in my life, then the universe begins to start making way for that new change. Like a woman that's pregnant, that baby, the moment that egg is fertilized, her body begins to go through changes, and before long, she's throwing up. She's not showing yet, but she's throwing up. Her body's beginning to change. She can feel it because that body is getting ready for that baby. And before long, she's big and showing. And next thing you know, that baby is coming out, because that's what get ready for greatness is all about, is that the greatness is already within you. Now you've got to prepare for it to come out of you. Now, your action plan, you want to share your action plan with someone within your circle of influence so that you can get the moral support and the accountability necessary to get from where you are to where you want to be. So where do you begin? This is my one of the my favorite lines from one of my favorite movies, The Wizard of Oz. Um, um, Dorothy asked Glinda the Good Witch, "Where do I start?" And as far as going along the yellow brick road, and Glinda the Good Witch answered, "The beginning is always a good place to start." So let's identify the beginning. Let's begin with that idea. Nothing else. No money, nothing. Begin with that and start working from there. So let's get into this section. These sections, by the way, if you've been following, you'll notice that they're really out of order, primarily because, again, I took my understanding the basics of business ownership workshop and just decided to bring it to a virtual state. We're still going to do the workshop. The workshops were designed to do in a live setting. They were never intended to be done online or in virtual sense, primarily because I'm just a firm believer that entrepreneurship, being that spirit, it's looking to live in a physical body, not in a machine. And I can do videos, but this is not really the energy that I want to put out into the universe. I want to put it out through individual people. I want to change lives, and this workshop is designed to do that. So once we get the all clear, we're going to begin to literally travel the nation and provide these um, workshops in a about a 4 hour setting, maybe like from 10 to 2, and with lunch in the middle, of course. We're going to be providing these lunch and learn workshops to entrepreneurs all over the country. We're probably going to keep it somewhere between 149 to 100 to $649 for the cost of the sessions, depending on what the market is saying. But we want to keep it affordable, but we also want to make certain that the individuals are seeing the value. So this is just from what would have been section 4, and we've even changed it around a bit. But I want to talk about the 6 myths of ownership, how to lower your risk of a startup, and then I'm going to give you what I call my 5 minute marketing degree. Because if someone had given me this, I would have saved myself a whole bunch of money going back to school to get this degree that I have now. So let's talk about the 6 myths of business ownership. I think the biggest myth is that you can bootstrap it. You can start off cheap, or even some say fake it till you make it. But let me tell you this: If you fake it until you make it, when you finally make it, you will still be a fake. When you fake it until you make it, when you finally make it, you will still be a fake. And then you're going to spend the rest of your time lying to people. Oh, well, where's your degree? Well, it's in the mail. Let me look at your taxes and see how much money you've made over the year. Well, I'm being audited right now, and those are not available. Where are those friends that you said you had? Well, I had them in my phone, but I lost the phone. And see, if you fake it until you make it, when you finally make it, you will still be a fake. Stop faking it. Be real. Now you can faith it. Faith it until you make it. Says that you can have the faith and the belief that one day you're going to get there. Now that's a forward-looking thing, and then you're willing to make the changes along the way. Your beliefs become the driving force. And here's the thing about beliefs: beliefs can change, because if I believe that it's going to rain and I get up in the morning and I put on my rain boots and my raincoat and my umbrella because I believe it's going to rain, my beliefs tell me it's going to rain. And then the moment I open the door, I look up and the sun is shining and there's not a cloud in the sky. Guess what? My beliefs just changed. And because my beliefs have changed, I'm going to take off my raincoat. I'm going to take off my rain boots. I'm going to leave my umbrella at home. And I'm going to probably put on some warmer clothes now, because I've got new information and my beliefs have changed. But if my beliefs become an ideology, ideologies don't change. They get drilled in, and people can that you can still you can believe that it's going to rain. Then someone shows you that there's not a cloud in the sky, but your ideology will tell you, so what? It still could possibly rain. And then you hold on to that umbrella, you hold on to that raincoat, and your ideology has you being the only one sitting on the beach with raincoat and umbrella while everybody is out basking in the sun. You are holding on to that ideology because you've been convinced that ideology and beliefs are the same. I believe in God, but I tell you what, if something came along to prove to me and show me that, like, there is no God, without in there's evidence that there just is no God, my beliefs have got to change. I'm not going to say, well, okay, well, based on that, you know what I'm going to do? I'm still believing. Now, see, here's the point. You cannot convince, you don't get a whole universe. With something had to create this universe. Okay. So my point is this is I know that that's not an ideology. That's a belief. And that's a belief in the undeniable truth. And there's another training session that I do. I think I'll do that tomorrow. I'll introduce the undeniable truth in the session tomorrow. But the second thing is you say I can start living off the business immediately. That is, ooh, that's a lie right there. Good gracious. My first accountant from years ago. Now I'm actually in my office is if you have when I'm certain some of you will have a chance to actually come by my office, but when you come by, you'll see that my office and the incubator that we've built here. I'm in one of the studios. I'm in my podcasting studio and my piano, and where I'm teaching and all of that other stuff. And I would turn the camera around and show you, but it's kind of a mess in here with the lights and everything. But this is just one of the rooms. But I have three off. Well, I, we will have three. We don't have the third one yet, but one was for marketing, accounting, and customer service. So this is the incubator, but it sits within the building along with my CPA. And so, but my first accountant from years ago, he would often remind me that I did not need to advise my clients to start a nonprofit corporation, because he said every corporation is a nonprofit, every business is a nonprofit business in those first 3 years. Nobody's making any money. So you can't start living off this business immediately. And this is another training that we'll get into when I start talking about the 7 streams of income. So you that's a myth that you can do that. I'll be my own boss. No, you won't. Like I know I'm not my own boss. When I can work here all day long and I got to go home to the Bank of Miriam. My wife is certainly my boss at the house, but I've got the IRS telling me that I better get my taxes in on time or they're going to hit me with a penalty. I got the city coming by and they can inspect anytime they want to see a license hanging on a tax thing hanging on the wall. There's taxes that I have to pay. When I started my own business, I opened up the door to 12, 14 different entities bossing me around and telling me what to do. No, I'm not my own boss. Not another big myth is that I can get rich overnight. Gladys Knight has a wonderful song. It's one of her probably least known songs. And it's a beautiful song, though. If you want to hear it, go online, pull it up, get Pandora, Amazon. I have Amazon Music. So, but it's called Overnight Success. And in that song, Gladys says, overnight success doesn't come overnight. It may look easy, may look like I got this easy, but it didn't come overnight. So overnight success does not come overnight. You'll also say, I have nothing to lose. So, and this is the problem with a lot of small business, small entrepreneurs starting out. You always have this mindset that because I put so little in, I have so little to lose. But you always have something to lose, even if it's the relationships that you formed along the way. You will lose something going in. So you want to not go in this attitude with this attitude that, and most people think entrepreneurs are risk takers. No, entrepreneurs are not risk takers. Entrepreneurs are risk mitigators. I think that that's a better description of what an entrepreneur is. An entrepreneur is a risk mitigator. We know how to look at the risk, but figure out a way that in spite of the risk, we can get it done. The the next myth, the final one, is that it takes money to make money. Now, this almost seems like it goes totally in the opposite direction of number one. It takes. I just said, and you can't bootstrap it. You need some money, but what I'm also saying, it doesn't take a lot of money. You don't need hundreds of thousands of dollars. You don't need to go tap into your 401k and pull out $40,000 to start a business. Um, you can start a business rather reasonably, a decent business, I should say, anywhere from 1,800 to about $5,000. It's more than enough with the right system to get your business off the ground. So I hope these six myths help you out and that they got you thinking before you make that decision to start a business. Um, and let me know which one of these jump out at you, if any. Um, how do you lower the risk of a startup? Let's talk about that. First, get experience in management and the type of business you plan on starting. The best thing you can do before you leap out there and start your own business is go to work to help someone else. You're thinking about starting a lawn care business because you look out there and you see the guy across the street always coming to cut the neighbor's lawn, and you think, man, look at there. He's got a pickup truck, he's got a trailer, he's got a lawnmower, he's got the lawn equipment, he's got on the hat, and he's got a little thing on his back. Man, I could buy all of that. I could start my own lawn care service. You don't see all the other stuff that's going on in making that business happen. But the easiest way for you to get a better understanding of that particular business is go to work for someone else. Intern, assist, tell them, look, I'm thinking about starting a lawn care business myself. I would love to come and work for you. I know that you probably don't have the money to pay me right now. If you just give me $5 an hour, I'll come in and cut grass with you because I feel like I'm going to learn. Nine times out of 10, that person, even though they know that you are talking about going off and starting your own business, nine times out of 10, that person will be willing to allow you to come into the business to learn from him or her to help you go out and do your thing. Of course, you want to plan ahead and make certain you have your family support, especially husbands and wives. There are a lot of times over the years, I've spoken to plenty of wives that I can never meet with the husband because she'll tell me, no, he's not supportive at all. Or the husband says, man, I wish I could get my wife on board with me. I have a very good friend. He passed away. His wife never supported his business. Never. Never. When I say never, I mean, never. He died without her. In fact, she died first. Never supporting him in his business. That's a sad thing, but make certain that you get the family support. Be prepared to become tired and discouraged and still persevere. I'm hearing a lot about that. People are discouraging, talk of suicide and all those different things. Yes, welcome to the world of entrepreneurship. I'm telling you, the entrepreneurs are not like Superman with capes on. They're going through these thoughts. Like, have I ever thought about giving? Someone asked me, have you ever thought about giving up? I think about giving up all the time. Are you kidding me? Yes, I think about giving up. I think about quitting. I think about throwing in the towel. I think about taking my little chips and going home, cashing in and going back to Miami. That's I think about it all the time. But that's because of the things that are hitting me. But I also think about my exit strategy. I think about what lies ahead for me in the future, and I weigh them. I mitigate the risk, and I persevere. Number five, use facts to substantiate your insights and hunches before acting on them. In my un, unscripted morning commutes, you can catch me live, Facebook Live around 8 o'clock, 8:30 in the morning when I'm coming to the office. I do my morning commute, but I often emphasize the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, and then there's one more step we take: the absolute truth. uh, Facts are what we can get right now today, but those facts have to be weighed against the whole truth. So if it's the truth, it's usually the truth as it stands today. But then what I say is you should have these three things. You should have today's news, and then you should have history, a strong knowledge of history, and then you should have biblical knowledge. Now, a lot of people can live their life with two out of three. They'll talk to you about the Bible and they'll talk to you about history, but they lose it somewhere in today's modern world. And when it comes to news, they might only listen to one particular news station or watch one particular television channel or they only listen to one particular kind of music and they don't want to hear anything else because that's their reality. And so they may be missing a couple facts, but they got two out of three, right? They got the Bible and they got their history. Some leave out the Bible and they talk they're all history and all current events. And then there are those that are current events and Bible with no history. They're like, what happened in the past is the past, they say. You can't talk about slavery, Richard. You can't bring that up. That doesn't matter. We need to move. And these are some strong Christian brothers that have told me this stuff. We can never, if you keep bringing up the past, we can never get together. We can never, we'll never pull this country together. That's what they say. But we cannot pick and choose. You got your facts, measure your facts, substantiate your facts, and against history. Talk to someone about it. Don't just jump out there with what you think or feel. Go and get some advice from somebody that's been there. Look at the history books. What does the history tell you about the economy and about those types of businesses? And then what does it say in the Bible? But then, even beyond the Bible, is God Himself. And this is the undeniable truth that God's universe is unlimited. God's love is unlimited. God's wealth is unlimited. And God Himself is unlimited in His knowledge, His power, and His wisdom. That's the undeniable truth. Now, if you want to get rid of those other three, you can throw out the Bible, you can throw out the history books, and you can throw out the today's news and stand on that undeniable truth. You'll be good to go. I'm telling you, you're going to be good to go. Follow your strengths and your interests. This is what we're working on right now in developing our new Get Ready for Greatness coaching and the Greatness Zone. If you get a chance, go to getreadyforgreatness.com, create your free coaching profile, and you'll see that for $49 you can get our coaching program, which I'm updating the website, and you'll be able to see that you will get Jay Forte's book, The Greatness Zone. It's a great book, easy read. You'll also get a membership into the Cultural Capital Marketplace. A $49 membership is included in that. And you'll also get a CTI marketing email address, basically you'll be counted as a CTI marketing um, independent um, distributor, if you will, or an affiliate. When you're an affiliate with CTI Marketing, we have a relationship with tens of thousands of companies that give us corporate discounts. So you'll be able to get those corporate discounts and save far more than the $49 that you're paying. But the idea is that you can try it out for $49. And if you don't believe that you're ready to move to the next level, basically you can just stay right there and wait for a year and take advantage of all the free resources until you're ready to move up. So go to getreadyforgreatness.com and check that out. And now this one, I really put in this because what happens is this is sometimes entrepreneurs get so caught up in success, especially the thought that what will people think? There's a song by Lisa and Colt Jam from back in the 90s, you know, what is it? Let the beat hit you or something like that. Let the rhythm take control. But at the very end of the song, it stops, the music stops, and then you hear Lisa say, "What will people think?" Yeah, that's that's the worst thing that an entrepreneur can do. Get caught up in what will people think? What will people think if I quit? What will people think if they find out I filed bankruptcy? What will people think if they find out that I had to fold the business and go out of business? What will people think? They won't think anything. Believe me, they're not thinking about you. Honestly, they wouldn't be thinking about you. Wouldn't be in a predicament that you are in if they were thinking about you. Nobody's thinking about you. So don't be too proud to quit. If the pressure is too much, live to fight another day. That's all I'm saying. All right. So those are the 6 things. Let's begin with this 5-minute marketing degree. And in understanding these 2 things will lay the foundation for you to be this expert marketer. I kid you not. In 5 minutes, set the clock. That we're going to do 5 minutes. In these next 5 minutes, I'm gonna wrap this segment up, and then we're going to go into the PS factor and the progressive mindset. But here's your 5-minute marketing degree. If you've ever talked to someone who said they're in sales and marketing and you ask them what's the difference, they couldn't. I guarantee you, most people who tell you they're in sales and marketing, or marketing and advertising, or advertising and sales, public relations and marketing. Some say, I'm in marketing, advertising, and public relations. Well, what's the difference? Oh, no. They can't tell you the subtle difference. Mainly because they haven't been educated on it. And in order to know the difference and be able to separate them, you literally have to go through all 4: marketing, advertising, sales, and public relations, to understand them individually so that you can compare them to each other. The problem is most people who are marketers, they also figure I can do advertising, sales, and public relations. Or those that are salespeople figure it's easy to do marketing and advertising. So they just grab those and they come along for the ride, but they don't know what they're doing, because someone said it best is when the only tool in your tool belt is a hammer, every problem looks like a nail. Yeah, when sales is all you know, sales is the answer to everything. When marketing is all you know, marketing is the answer to everything. Advertising is all you know, advertising is the answer to everything. But we're going to in these next couple minutes, and I actually used 2 minutes explaining that. So I got 3 minutes to go through this. I'm gonna knock this out. Watch. Marketing is the process involved in taking your product or service from the mind of the developer, the top of your mind, to the top of the mind of the consumer. So whatever you're thinking about your product, you use marketing to get your customer to think the same way. So therefore, marketing is also an exchange of information using any advertising vehicle in an effort to create TOMA, T-O-M-A, top of mind awareness. So I tell you that my product is made with pure silk. You didn't know that before. Now that's information that I gave you through marketing. but you tell me silk makes you allergic. You're allergic to silk. I just that little bit of exchange of information helps me better know that I don't need to be trying to sell you a silk scarf, or it's a waste of time for me to be advertising to you about silk scarves that I have. So because I know that information about you, now you will never see a marketing message that comes from me asking you to buy my silk scarf. See how that's just one simple example of the exchange of information. So let's go into this marketing degree. The objective here is to gain a complete understanding of the marketing process, its importance in reaching your goals, and the impact of a sound marketing plan can have on your business. So to understand the difference between marketing, advertisement, and and marketing and advertising to identify important milestones within the marketing process. So, although these three, blank, blank, and blank, and the last one are mentioned in the same as the same, they're all different components that work together to reach the same goal. So, although marketing, advertising, sales, and public relations are mentioned as one and the same, they're different components to reach the same goal. That's why each one, no matter which way you approach it, the marketing guy, the sales guy, the advertising guy, the public relations guy, they can all tell you they can help you because they can. They can help you walk the yellow brick road. They can help you get to the land of Oz, but they're all going to be singing different songs along the way. The lion, tiger, the what is it? The lion, the scarecrow, and the tin man. They're all approaching it from a different mindset. Okay. So marketing is a process and an exchange of information between your business and your target market. The example that I use of the silk scarf, but in a really good marketing strategy, you're exchanging information billions of times. I mean, and Facebook and Google and YouTube, they and all of these companies now are making it easy because they're grabbing information and calling it analytics and getting you information on your customer. But that's not an exchange because now your customer is not getting the same information about your business. There's nothing out there giving the customer analytics on the business, but the business is out there looking at the customer, looking at where they're clicking, looking at where they're going, gathering information. So it's kind of a one-sided street, but the best marketing relationship is a two-way street. You give me a little bit of information, I give you a little bit of information. A process, in this case, to make the distinction, to understand it, will not continue without active participation. Now, advertising is an event. And here's the distinction. An event can take place with or without a witness. So that means your your advertising can run during the Super Bowl, but just so happens that everybody who would possibly be buying your product got up to go to the bathroom at the same time. So guess what? Your event happened and nobody was there to witness it. So how do you ensure that somebody will witness your event? You do multiple advertising events. You do multiple commercials, multiple places, all over the place. Your ads show up. Now somebody's definitely going to see it. But see, marketing is a process. It's one process. I often say fire the arrow once and move the target as much as you need to. So in this case, the arrow is your marketing strategy. Once you fire that marketing strategy, don't stop the arrow and shoot another arrow. You can't afford it. You don't need to. Shoot one arrow, let it start flying, and then target your market. Identify the market, move the target. Fire the arrow once, move the target as often as you need to. Okay. So the next thing I want to let me add it here because I don't have it on these slides, but I want to talk about sales. Sales is the it's a an activity, and an activity has a very clear beginning and a very clear end. So that's what sales is, and then public relations is an extension of all of this. So there you have it. So now that you know marketing is a process, advertising is an event, sales is an activity, and public relations is an extension of all of those three. And there you have it. So let's jump over real quick. I want to finish what we were working on with the progressive mindset theory, and we had made it up to yesterday. We were and I'll go over this tomorrow. These right here, I'll do a recap tomorrow, but I'm going to skip past these slides, guys, because we've always already done this. But we made it up to the hunter mentality today. So the hunter mentality is motivated. So let's go back real quick. Caveman, your mentality, remember your mentality sets your mindset. So the caveman mentality is fearful of everything. And there are a lot of people right now that being locked up in their homes is like being in a cave, and they're fearful. But then there are those that come out, and they come out as a slave, slave to their job, slave to that relationship, slave to whatever, even sometimes feeling slave to your children. And that therefore you have that angry mindset. And all it takes is a little bit to set you off. But that's because your fearful mind and your angry mind is at the root of who you are. It's what's that limbic system that or what's called some call it the alligator mind, or the most primitive part of you. It has not evolved over the millions of years or whatever the amount of time we've been around. It was there at the very beginning, and it's still there. It's the fight or flight response. It's fear or anger at your base level. But as you begin to evolve, your mindset begins to move up. You come up to the farmer mentality. The farmer becomes ornery. He's happy while the crops are good. Is green acres is the place to be. Farm living is the life for me. Land spreading out so far and wide. Keep Manhattan. Just give me that countryside. Yep. And then the countryside is set afire, or locusts show up, or somebody drives across your field, cuts you off in traffic. Now you ornery, road rage. That's that farmer mentality. Once you're set free from the farmer mentality, you get to that fisherman mindset. But the fisherman, as I mentioned yesterday, is protective. So once you get free from that protective mindset, and by the way, you can go to the YouTube channel, log on to richardcuff.com. It'll take you to my Get Ready for Greatness YouTube channel, and you can find the lunch and learn sessions from previous days, and you can watch and go through those things. Now, if you want to get the workbook of which I'm giving you this information, you can log on to getreadyforgreatness.com. You can purchase this 21 Days to Greatness for only $49, and you'll have the workbook to go along. But you'll also be able to work with me. I'll be able to communicate with you on a personal basis and invite you to my private Facebook groups and our Zoom call and coaching sessions. So you'll have access to all of those. So do consider purchasing the workbook and the $49. But it's still, all of this is still going to be available to you free. So if you can't afford it or just don't want to pay it, that's fine. And tomorrow we're going to talk about the warrior mentality and the conquering mindset. But let me just sort of bring home this hunter mentality and some of the challenges that you're going to face as you find yourself in that hunter mentality. You might say, yes, I'm that hunter. I know I'm hungry. I'm motivated. I want to get out there and do this thing. One of the greatest stories ever written about this hunter mentality is the story of Jacob and Esau in the Bible. Jacob, the younger brother, well, Esau and Jacob were basically twins, and Esau was born a minute or so before Jacob. The Bible talks about how Jacob came out holding his ankle. They were like fighting to be the first one to come out because whoever came out first had the birthright. Well, maybe Esau did something, probably poked him in the eye while they were in the womb, just poof, and made Jacob like miss coming out first, and then they fought, and Esau came out. Well, Esau became this hunter. He was this burly dude, and Jacob was his homebody, hung out with his mom, and Jacob and his mom devised a scheme to trick the dad to give Jacob the birthright. Now, you cannot get the inheritance unless you have you have the birthright and you have the blessing. So it was the blessing that the father gave Jacob, thinking it was Esau. So when Esau came home, I don't know how they knew the timing like this, but Esau was so tired, he throws Jacob the meat or whatever it was that he had been hunting down and says, hey, cook this for me, if you will. And Jacob, because he was too tired to cook it for himself, to make his own meal. And Jacob said, I'll do it for you if you give me your birthright. Now, in Esau's mind, you can have my birthright, but it means absolutely nothing if you got the birthright without Pop's blessing. But he didn't know that Jacob had already gotten the blessing. And so when Jacob got the birthright, he had both parts, and he got the inheritance. Esau lost the inheritance. But the point was, he sold his birthright for the meal. And if you've ever heard that saying, don't sell your birthright for a meal, that's where that saying comes from. So you have to recognize when you are working yourself into a moment of fatigue where you're so tired that you're not thinking straight. And it's at that moment that you can make bad decisions. You can sign for a loan that you're going to regret. You can get into a relationship. You could bring in a partner. You could make a decision about it. You're tired of being in this small office space or in this small building. And in that hunter moment, that hungry hunter moment, you make a decision to sign that lease and now you regret signing it. Economy makes a turn. So just be careful in that hunter mentality and recognize what are your motivations. Make certain that these motivations are pure. So guys, that's the process for today. I really appreciate you all hanging out with me. I'm going to um, do my best to make certain that I work on getting this timing right because honestly I had not even and I do apologize for my um, viewers and those that are following me over on the West Coast because yes, when I start the lunch and learn at noon, it's 9 o'clock in California. So I'm pushing it back a little bit, and probably around 2 o'clock is a good time to start. So if you guys here on the East Coast don't mind a 2 o'clock lunch and learn, so that we can get the West Coast in at 11 o'clock, I think that'll probably be a fair, um, happy medium. You know, the West Coast, you guys are having an early lunch. On the East Coast, you guys are having kind of a late lunch. I mean, you're catching me after lunch, I should say. But either way it goes, if the timing doesn't work out, that I can't, and I know I'm not going to be able to make this work for everybody. I do apologize, and I don't even know why I'm apologizing for not being able to make it work out for everybody. It just ain't gonna work for everybody. That's all I'm saying. But you'll always be able to catch this on the live replay. So look for it over on the Get Ready for Greatness Facebook page. And you can always log on to richardcuff.com where you'll see all the videos. And also I'm going to begin posting my morning commute. And this morning you'll notice I changed the format. I had been recording them with the phone in a horizontal thing because it was just sort of something that I was doing on a personal note. But what I've realized is that I have to be mindful that the morning commutes are now this very popular segment that I'm doing, and so I'm bringing in a production team and the suggestion to turn it horizontal so that it can be better edited was a good suggestion. So I've since turned the camera and we're doing them in a horizontal way. So you'll see that I did it this morning and I'm going to continue to do it for the rest of the day. Also probably do a little selfie stick thing and ultimately someone else will be doing the camera. But God is really blessing these events. And thank you all so much for coming on board. You're going to witness the transformation that I am going to go through, that I'm going through right now in 21 days. Every day, I kid you not, every day since I committed to these 21 days, my business has prospered. My mindset has expanded. Opportunities are coming. It seems like my workflow is getting easier. Yeah, a couple of things along the way. I get a nice little IRS have to tap me on the shoulder with a letter today. Oh goodness gracious! Welcome to the world of entrepreneurship, Lord. Ah, but we're gonna be all right, y'all. We're gonna be all right. Let me tell you what. I'm not looking for. I'm one of those that just ain't got no business looking for a stimulus check. If I got to get out there and make it happen. So for all of you who are out there making it happen, guys, let's continue to do that. The world is waiting on us to turn this thing around. So we're gonna do this again tomorrow. Be sure to check me out in the morning for my morning commute, and also tomorrow afternoon live for the lunch and learn sessions. I'm probably going to pop in right around 1:45 tomorrow on the East Coast, which will be right around 10:45 to 11 o'clock on the left coast. And we'll be able to get everybody in as we're making this broadcast. Of course, it's available throughout the country and around the world, anywhere you're on the internet. So thank you guys for hanging out. Do share the video. Please subscribe to the to the YouTube channel and hit that bell so that you get the alerts when new videos come up. and like the page. And also uh, get over to getreadyforgreatness.com, set up your free coaching profile. When you put your contact information in there, I'll reach out to you, and then we'll see what we can do going forward. And if you want to just schedule a free coaching call, go to the Get Ready for Greatness Facebook page and just click the link to book a conversation. It's no cost. It'll just be a great opportunity. If there's some thought that you have on your mind or something, question that you might have, book the call there on the Get Ready for Greatness page. Till tomorrow, guys. Take care.